Coming up this morning on UT Today, April is National Recycling Month. Hear how some UT students are participating in it with their artwork.
Plus, hear how UT is helping in the fight against human sex trafficking.
And car lovers from all over East Tennessee brave the rain to see the best of what the car industry has to offer. Right now on UT Today.
Happy Sunday, everyone. I'm Marina Triconis.
And I'm Ariel Starks. Thank you for joining us as we've got a great show for you this morning. And as always, these stories are a part of the University's School of Journalism and Electronic Media.
We'll get to those top stories in just a moment, but first, the Vols can rest easy this weekend. Rick Barnes has decided to stay on Rocky Top.
Sports anchor Will Bowling joins us now for a closer look at what led Rick Barnes to stay at UT. Will?
Well, that's right, guys. The question all last weekend was, will he stay or will he go? And now more details are coming out about what led Rick Barnes to turn down a blue blood program in UCLA to stay on Rocky Top. Now, Barnes will be making roughly $5 million a year, making him the third highest paid coach in all of college basketball. But the big story here, Barnes also has more money to hire a new assistant coach. That was a big selling point for him as well. Now, UT Athletic Director Philip Fulmer released a statement earlier this week calling Coach Barnes, quote, one of the nation's elite and a game changer. I'll tell you what, after one of the best seasons in UT history, guys, it's easy to see why Tennessee pressed so hard to get him back. Marina, Ariel?
Thanks, Will. Wayne Davis has held the position of interim chancellor of UT for close to a year now, and as his time begins to wrap up, we wanted to know how the past year has been and what his plans are moving forward.
For that, we turn to UT Today reporter Ansley Daniel, who joins us live in the studio with Interim Chancellor Davis.
Thank you so much, Ariel and Marina. I am here in studio with Interim Chancellor Wayne Davis. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today here at UT Today. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's great to be here.
Well, thank you so much. I know that you have a really busy schedule, so we really appreciate you taking the time to sit down and talk with us. So a couple weeks ago, there was an unfortunate incident that occurred here on campus with a racist photo that surfaced on Twitter. I know that you responded within 6 days. Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like when you had to work with your team in such a short period to make sure that you had a lasting impression on that incident?
Well, we actually responded very quickly to that particular incident because we were actually off campus at the time, but we did try to respond fairly quickly. Of course, for us as a university, things like the blackface incident and things of that nature are things that we really abhor that. We don't condone it. We don't believe that there's any room on our campus for things like that. At the same time, we also understand that under First Amendment and freedom of speech, there are certain things that can be done that we really can't stop sometimes, but I think it's extremely important that we express in a very strong way our feelings about that type of behavior on campus, and we did.
So you and your team responded with a 4-part plan. Do you have an update on that plan?
We do. We've actually initiated a lot of things. I would say that incident in of itself is not why we developed the plan. We developed a plan because we have a campus that is hurting. And that is anxious and over many different things that have happened both around the world that we in the world that we live in as well as on our campus. But we did realize that we needed to develop a more proactive plan. That plan involves a number of things. First of all, we agree with many of the students who made comments that we all need more diversity and inclusion training. I think everybody in the world probably could stand a dose of that from time to time and really work through those workshops and understand where the sensitivities are. So we actually have that process in place. The other activities involve setting up a committee that will look at student conduct code. That's going to be challenging, but I think it's very worthwhile to look at that code to determine are there things that we could do that would actually make that code more clear. What I really think is we can make the code more clear from the standpoint of what our expectations are as members of the university community.
You've devoted most of your life to this university, so what's next for you after this?
Wow, retirement. So retirement will be interesting. People ask me, well, what are you going to do after you retire? Well, actually, there are lots of things I enjoy doing that I haven't been able to do as much as I would have liked over the years, particularly this past year. I love playing bluegrass music. That's something that I will continue to do into retirement, and I definitely will enjoy that part. I have 3 grandchildren. I didn't get to spend as much time with those 3 grandchildren this year as I would have liked. I love gardening. I'm an outside person. I'm going to miss that campus life. I've been doing it, immersed in it for about 48 years, so I'm sure I will miss that. But I'm also a Tennessee volunteer, so I'm an alum, so I do plan to continue to interact with the university, and when there are special things they want me to participate in, I'm happy to do that.
Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us. We are certainly going to miss you, but we're really excited for what's next for you in the future.
My pleasure.
Marina and Ariel, I'm going to send it right back to you.
Thanks, Ansley. For the full version of the interview, head to our website, uttodaytv.com.
Human trafficking is a global crisis, and UT is opening up a conversation about it to help fight it in East Tennessee.
Falls Against Human Trafficking is a panel and presentation about human trafficking and local efforts to combat it. Students showed up to learn about the different forms of sex trafficking in East Tennessee and how they can connect those in need to resources. We spoke to Natalie Ivy about what students can do to prevent it.
Oftentimes the most difficult but the most important component with learning about sex trafficking is really accepting that it's happening here in our community. So I hope that they all left tonight understanding that this is an issue here, it is happening, and they have the potential to have an effect by paying attention to what's around them and connecting folks to resources.
More information about similar events can be found on the websites of the Center for Health and Education and Wellness and the Office of Title IX.
Well, despite the rain last weekend, I had the chance to head out to Harper Auto Square's Cars and Coffee to check out a variety of cars from all over the Southeast. Thousands of car enthusiasts braved the rain last weekend to head out to Harper Auto Square's Cars and Coffee at Westtown Mall. This event is the largest Cars and Coffee event in the region, with over 6,000 cars and 10,000 guests per event.
It's basically a gathering of car enthusiasts. I mean, anywhere from an everyday driver to an exotic car that's out, you know, a couple times a year. It's just a great gathering of people that love cars.
Harper's Cars and Coffee showcases a wide variety of cars and welcomes all cars and car fans to the event. Event attendees enjoy inventory on display from Harper Auto Square's 9 luxury dealerships, custom cars and coffee merchandise, and free dash plaques and refreshments complimentary of local sponsors.
We get new people every year that, you know, have seen it advertised and stuff, and we've been doing this since 2013, and this is our 20th Cars and Coffee, so, and it's just grown every year. It's amazing.
Since its start, Harper Auto Square's Cars and Coffee has grown from a 75-car event to the premier Cars and Coffee event in the Southeast. Despite the poor weather on Sunday, Cars and Coffee had the parking lot of Westtown Mall filled with cars and event attendees.
Turnout is good. It's a rainy day, but it's still amazing how many people still show up. I mean, there's a lot of cars out here that people didn't expect to see today because of the weather, but it's amazing the showing that we even have on a rainy day. It's amazing.
For more information and photos from Harper's Cars and Coffee, visit their website at harpercarsandcoffee.com.
Now, the date for the Cars and Coffee summer event has not yet been released, but keep an eye on their website and social media for updates on upcoming events. Well, many people are used to seeing items you can recycle in bins or fold it up, but what about in an art exhibit? The Art of Recycling Sculpture exhibit celebrates April's National Recycling Month. The exhibition features original artworks by UT Sculpture Program students. This art is inspired by and incorporates scrap metal. The sculptures were unveiled in a public ceremony on April 3rd.
it's just interesting to take all these bits of junk that don't carry any weight symbolically and then assemble them in a way that all of a sudden, as humans, we have a reaction to it.
I really wanted to find a way of making balance precarious but also stable. The main thing I found was this awesome wheel, which is the base of this piece. And hopefully they can see that in more of like a broad sense, like, well, maybe this piece of trash isn't trash. I can reuse it for something else, whether it's art or not.
The exhibition is open to the public at the Knoxville Convention Center now through April 21st. 3 UT students are making a name for themselves and their new business, centered around waffles.
UT Today reporter Chase Biefeld got the chance to chat with the students. Chase, is this real?
Yeah, Marina, believe it or not, you can now order a waffle anytime between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. It's all thanks to Never Full Waffles. It's run by 3 Haslam School of Business students. They go by Trill, Vegas, and Don, and their waffles are off the chain.
We believe in the law of attraction, and we knew something would hit us since the college campus. Most people are up, most people, are hungry late night at that time. No Waffle House near, and then we was just doing the flavors organically, just being ourselves.
Obviously, it's a different flavor of waffles, but
VO needs to go further down.
Our personalities is actually what sells it.
It's just like no other, because we one of a kind.
Whoops. They started Never Full through Instagram back in January. They promised their customers if they reached 1,000 followers, they'd throw a waffle party.
What did you put in the juice?
So we pushed for it. We got to 1,000 followers within no less than 2 hours. We just posted on our social media. People were like, they want it. So we got to give it to them. They want it. We come out, get free waffles, and we also wanted to make it an experience.
They had a blast celebrating and said it wouldn't have been possible without their customers. But they said they're far from done. Their next move is to actually open a shop on the Strip. But until then, they said they're not taking any days off. Marina, Ariel, back to you.
What a sweet business, if I do say so myself.
I'm hoping he brought back some waffles for us.
Right, I am kind of hungry. Still to come on UT Today, we take an in-depth look at several businesses right here in Knoxville that are helping people every time they open their doors.
Stay with us, everyone. UT Today continues after this. Welcome back to UT Today. Now, yoga is a great way to relieve stress and slow down that heart rate, but what if you add goats into the mix?
Now, Marina, it is a lot better than it sounds. I tried goat yoga, the trend that adds a twist to traditional yoga poses like downward dog and child's pose. Take a look.
Downward dog, but today we're introducing a new animal into yoga poses.
Madison Oldendorf, a member of UT's Stokely Hall Council, not only helped plan the goat yoga event, but she got in a nice stretch with these furry friends.
It's cathartic to pet the goats and cuddle with them, and then it's also just nice to have the goats around while you're doing yoga and stuff like that.
Yoga instructor Rebecca Lurs says incorporating goats in yoga adds something extra to your experience that you don't get by doing yoga the traditional way.
Or even sometimes when they're like laying on your back and being able to feel their breath or their heartbeat and just their warmth. It just offers like a relaxation that, doing yoga by yourself wouldn't, because you're usually just focused on yourself, whereas now you're focused on yourself and this other small life.
For some, including goats in a daily activity was a new experience. But for James Christian, interacting with the goats was a little taste of home.
I mean, I have held a goat before. I'm from Mississippi, so, it's something, very common. But having yoga with goats, that was a first-time thing, so that was something very interesting to do.
Just be holding him the whole time.
For UT Today, Ariel Starks.
It definitely looks like you had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm more sore from doing the yoga or the goats walking on my back. Well, these days, hearing the word cobbler makes us think of fairy tales, but one man right here in Knoxville is just that.
UT Today reporter Jaleesa Baidu caught up with the owner of Rogers Shoe and Luggage Repair and has more.
There aren't many cobblers here in Knoxville, Tennessee, but there is one man here who's still keeping this old-fashioned business fresh and alive.
At a time when he was down and out, Roger Frills found his passion for shoe repair.
I got led to this business approximately 26 years ago through job service in Oak Ridge. They needed an extra cobbler.
Not knowing that blessings would come knocking on his door.
So they trained me, and then the next thing I know, I'm in Knoxville owning my own business.
Roger's Shoe and Luggage Repair, a place he could finally call his own.
It's been very successful. I've been very blessed.
And through his faith, he's continued to add on to his business.
From any kind of luggage, purses, belts, horse equipment, to swimming pool covers, to just bags of all shapes, sizes.
It's more than a job and a gift. It's the ability to make others happy that keeps him going.
It's provided for my family, and I have awesome customers that give me repeat business, and that actually goes out and tells the younger crowd, hey, get your shoes fixed.
And for over a decade, he can still say that one of his greatest achievements is knowing that he has
done something that's going to stay out there and keep working
for years to come.
But that'll go on that and look like brand new.
With UT Today, I'm Jaleesa Baidu.
Thank you so much, Jaleesa.
WJBE has been playing music for Knoxville since the late 70s.
UT Today reporter Sarah Johnson got to catch up with the executive producer of the station and joins us now live in the studio for more. Sarah.
That's right, guys. Gene Thomas stays very busy at his job at WJBE, but always makes time for his faith and good music.
Thomas, I want you to tune in to WJBE, Jammin' 99.7 FM and 1040 AM. Just the best every day.
Gene Thomas wears many hats at Jammin' 99.7 WJBE.
I am the news director and community relations director, one of the executive producers of most of the shows that we have on the air here at WJBE.
He's been with the station since its revival in 2013, and since then, they have become a main source of information, entertainment, and more for Knoxville's Black community.
Because a lot of things that were missing in the community, events and things of that nature, was because there was no real platform of advertising. So WJBE became that place that I could come as a pastor, or if I wanted an event, broadcast for the whole community to hear about it, I'll come to WJBE.
WJBE was started in 1978 by none other than James Brown as a way to get information out to the Black community.
There was no station in town or media representation for the African American community. And so it was purchased specifically for the vision of creating a platform for the African American community to come and speak on, as well as present the music that has defined our culture for years.
Thomas can be found in the studio producing multiple shows during the week or at Cannon Baptist Church of Christ on Sunday mornings where he is a pastor. Though he prefers to keep his pastoring and producing separate, he likes to focus his Sunday shows on one specific area.
My focus and my target is always going to be the spirituality of the station, us trying to, bring forth the Christian position in the airwaves.
For the last 6 years, Thomas and WJBE have been consistently bringing news, tunes, and the good word to the people of Knoxville through the radio. You can catch WJBE through the week starting Monday mornings at 4 a.m. Ariel, Marina, back to you.
Still to come on UT Today, the semester is wrapping up at UT, and so is the track season.
UT Today anchor Will Bowling catches up with one senior who is savoring his final days on the track. All that and more after this.
Welcome back to UT Today, everybody. I'm Will Bowling. Well, yesterday was a busy day on Rocky Top and at Tom Black Track. It was the final home meet for UT senior Zach Long. The Rutledge, Tennessee native got one last chance to race in East Tennessee, and as always, he competed in front of lots of friends and family.
Zach Long has run a lot of miles at Tennessee, but his parents?
They're probably getting close to 100,000, to be honest with you.
They've traveled thousands more.
You look up and see your family that brought you up and got you to where you are, that just means the world to me.
Long, an East Tennessee native, always wanted to be a Tennessee athlete. But as a kid, he didn't think they'd be watching him run track. He had dreams of wearing a different orange jersey.
We wanted to be a Tennessee baseball player ever since I was little. In 7th grade, Matt Day, the middle school track coach, pulled me aside when we were running the mile for conditioning in baseball, and he said, "Hey man, I think you could be really good at track if you want to go out for the team." So ran a couple meets 7th grade year, didn't think much more about it. Freshman year, to get in shape for basketball and baseball, we went out for cross country.
The fit was perfect. Now Long has a pair of UT school records. And even when they can't make the trip, he's got an awfully big team in his corner.
You know, family's everything. So my parents put all the commitment, time, money into me being the athlete that I've turned out to be. It's single digits, the number of meets they've missed in cross-country track and indoor and outdoor, and that says a lot because we race far away every weekend.
With their support, Long will graduate this May as one of UT's all-time greats.
Being up on the record board is something really special, and hopefully it'll make me a part of Tennessee history for a while.
For UT Today, I'm Will Bowling.
Yeah, some pretty quick times there on that board for sure as well. Now, Long will also be featured in our sports special next week, the busiest day on Rocky Top. You certainly won't want to miss that. We'll finish out our last show of the year in 2 weeks with a special look at yesterday's festivities all across campus. You had softball and baseball, both hosting SEC foes, the 52nd annual Tennessee Relays at Tom Black Track, and of course, the orange and white game as well. Certainly won't want to miss that here in a couple weeks, but for now, we've got more coming up after the break. You're watching UT Today.
Welcome back to UT Today. Market Square was covered in chalk art this past weekend, and it was all part of the annual Dogwood Arts Chalk Walk. Artists ranging from beginners to professionals took over parts of sidewalks in Market Square and used chalk to create art. Artists drew everything from animals to people, and winning artists were given a ribbon and cash prize at the end of the day. Over 25,000 people attended this year's event, and it looked like it was a great time.
Well, that's it for us this morning on UT Today. We'll see you all next week with our final show. But before then, make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
We leave you today with sounds from a very warm and beautiful day at UT Gardens.